手停在我发端的指尖，如何瞬间冻结时。
All right, let's talk lead vocals. The star of the show, the reason why we're even making this record. And you know, you love her vocals. I love her vocals. I've been mixing G.E.M's vocals for about 10 years now, and it's a pleasure. It's a privilege. So let's check out what we did here. You remember we split this up in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sections for the different levels that we need to hit the compressor with, because we want an even but in-your-face kind of vocal. So my chain, let's follow along here for a moment, because it is a little complicated, but I think it makes sense once I show you. Let's just use this verse as an example. The track comes in here. I'll talk about the plugins in a moment. It goes through this lead 1 comp bus, right? And that lead 1 comp goes actually into 4 or 5 buses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the signal gets split into 5. And on one I have a uncomp situation. That means nothing is on there normally. Then I have 4 different compressors here: stay level, a vac rack, an 1176, and a CL1B, which is a tube tech compressor, which I happen to endorse, and you should buy it. But as you can see, these actually have some level on them. Some of them do, some don't, some is muted, etc. But then they all go to lead 1 sub, which is this one here, which is this last fader. This is basically the actual vocal fader. If you had a board, this would be the final fader on your board. There would be some EQs, etc., and then it would send to some effects. So now you got the routing. Okay, so let's talk about how we get there. I can solo the vocal from my VCA here. Cool. So what you see first is a Pro Q. I like cutting out the lead vocal at the very bottom. There's normally nothing under, let's say, 100 or so. Depends on how high they sing. A female lead vocal is normally a little skinnier, and the male one is a little thicker. So actually I got pretty high here. What is it, 113? But you see that basically there's almost nothing here, so that's why I feel okay cutting it out that much. And also I give it a little bit of a leaner sound here. I could have done this anywhere, but why not start it? I think like the vocal needs a little bit of a leanness here. I'll start at the very top. Then if I turn this, let me turn this one off for a moment. Look at the level. Look at the level here. You see it's kind of right around that part that's 12, where the green meets the yellow. Similar to how I had it with the instruments, where I re-level it to a specific level that looks good to me, and the same should be happening here. But you get the idea. Like, you don't want your vocal at a very random level, too loud or too soft. You want it to hit at a specific level that is compatible with your gear. It actually doesn't have to be where I have it, but my whole system is aligned in a way where that part from green to yellow is where I need to be in order to have a foreseeable outcome for all my processes. So I like that there. Of course, everybody loves compression. I love compression, so I'll give it a little bit here, just to get it more even. The whole thing means that vocals, bass, pianos are the most dynamic that you can find in your recordings, and so basically you compress vocals quite a bit these days, because these days you just want them forward. You want to not lose any syllables. you want to just have this appearance of the vocal that's larger than life and always at the front of your music. That is the right answer for a lot of mixes I do. So compression is necessary, of course. Did you notice something? I just wanted to point this out. All the S's that my assistant had are gone here. What happened? Well, he basically put this in for me to have the data of the breaths and the S's being lowered, but I don't necessarily want all of that stuff before compression because we're about to hit a bunch of compressors. So actually I took all of that information and copied it to this fader where you see all of these breaths and S's being used for volume automation. And that happens at the very, very end of the chain. To me, the compressor brings all the stuff up that I don't like, and then at the very end of the chain, I can turn back down those parts that I don't like. So basically, we still have the data. Now it's in the better place to attack the sound in the way I want it to be. Let me show you a little bit what's happening here. So I'm using these compressors. This is what's going on here. I'm using these 3 compressors to shape the sound. It's not easy to show, but check this out. When I play the vocal, it goes through all the 3 compressors, 4 compressors actually. Sorry, I just did this one, the stay level, I didn't use on this song. That's why it's muted. And there's one more that's basically muted right now because it has no compressor on it. It's just something to compare it to my compressed version and see if I'm actually doing a good thing. It's going to these 3 aux returns, and it hits the tube tech, the 1176, and the VAC rack, and I'm using them almost like organ drawbars, where all of them have a different sound. To me, the tube tech sounds a little bit more expensive, has an open high end. The 1176 sounds very compressed. You know, it's a FET compressor. It's very fast, very squishy. And actually, the VAC rack is kind of, it's very natural, very much unaffected as far as tone goes, but it's still compressed. And so I can use these 3 faders over here. I'll do this real quick. I could do this, play it, take them down. Can audition these 3. And then decide that, in this case I decided, that the tube tech was the best sound overall, but I wanted a little bit of a parallel thing going on. So I used both of the other ones. You can imagine that that's kind of like a drawbar on an organ, and I can decide which tonality I like more or less. Let me see if I can undo that out as to not totally change the mix, but you get the idea here. There it is. That's what it was. Yep. So all of these together become a package that then gets into the final fader over here. So on that final fader, I actually have the major part of my EQ, which is a little bit of brightness, in this case a 10K. A little bit of, well, you see, we get a lot of brightness here, but also with a careful dip here, because for some reason I thought that sometimes it happens around 10K. No, sorry, it's 7K? 9K, almost 10K. There's a little fizziness that I don't like, so I took it out. But overall, if you can see these 2 EQs, you get a curve that's kind of going towards the high end, because again, our vocals want to be loud, proud, present, and that takes some shaping, careful shaping. So let me just show you without all of this. Sounds a little nasally, maybe a little muted, you know. Put them in. You get that brightness and also an aliveness, I would say. In the last, there's a little bit of a multi-band. I'm gonna go to a different section. It just dances around the 2 frequencies that are mostly, this would be mud and this would be presence. And sometimes it lifts the sound up a little bit, and sometimes it pushes against it and keeps it more even. Let me see if I can show that here.
缘分让我们相遇了是意
And with it.
外，缘分让我们相遇了是意外。
Like it envelops the sound a little bit more and gives it a more sturdy and even sound. Keeps the mid-range forward. But as you can see, it doesn't push it down much. Maybe 2 dB.
缘分让我们相遇了是意
And if I turn it off,
外，缘分让我们相遇，缘分让我们相遇。
a little exciter in a way. An exciter that makes stuff more even, more in your face, more present. So basically, it's somewhere between a compressor and an equalizer. Let me turn off a couple of effects here and see what I can do here. And show.
我没想到为你
This is
我
what
能
without
疯
anything.
狂到山崩海啸。
Here's something with the reverb, which is a plate on the 480L.
我没想到为你我能疯狂到山崩海啸没。
Okay. Just a little reverb that doesn't make it too wet, but kind of gives us the excitement of the chorus. Little eighth note slap.
我没想到为你
Let's put it up.
我没
See, that one's automated. Can't.
我没想到为你我能疯狂到。
But just give it a little bit of motion, feel that the thing is just moving forward, even on the vocal side, not just the instruments basically doing all the work for that. What else we have here? We have a quarter that was on.
我没想到为你我能疯。
I like that. It's kind of a thing where you have the eighth notes, but then also the quarter too, and the way they interact, the way the feedback of the two interact, give you kind of like a more more life-feeling delay that changes a little bit more instead of just one repeat that just comes afterwards.
我没想，
If you can hear that. We had the dual shift, which
我没
is
想到为你我能疯狂到，我没想到为你我没想到。
very subtle. Gives a little bit of a width thing, but I like. I use it sometimes, not always. And actually, in this case, it's probably automated. Yeah, I only use it for the chorus. You see it going on and off. And don't use it for the verse. Again, we're looking for the drama, right? Find the drama wherever you can with every processor you find. Let's see what else we have. We have long throw. Just some delays here.
相遇了是意
Oh, I have to turn it on.
外，相遇了是意外，命运却要
Gives it a little bit of a drama moment here. I like it. Infinity Verb's the same thing, just a longer reverb.
奔不重要，
You hear that going back in the back.
奔不重要。
Okay, let me show you the long throw here. It's an Echo Boy 2, but it's this one here.
奔不重要。
That's the setting. Kind of a little bit of a left right and then go away kind of delay. And then for the actually for the full song, but just slightly automated, I'm also using this Auto Park reverb.
已经没有明天，
So that longer tail you're hearing
已经没有明天。
is a longer Auto Park reverb. That this you can use this one for instance. The Auto Park is in the Verb suite. It's a setting from the 480L that I like, and this one does a good job of getting that. Now I could use the 480L, but I'm using it for for my other vocals, so I guess not this time. And then XD vocal. Let's see what that is. Oh, it has some extra throws. Oh, that's the delay here. Just a fast one. This was something probably from a request that the producer had, saying, "Hey, can you give me like a little moment here in the choruses?" And so we decided that might be a little moment for special effects. Let me show you one other thing here for the vocal that is important to me and a lot of work. Is this guy here. We'll open this Q plugin. Very often what happens is that you have a vocal that has a lot of whistle frequencies and they become harsh. So what my assistant does right here, I'm gonna open both of these, he automates them out before I start. Check it out. And he does this kind of thing. And without that, these moments become somewhat piercing, like here. Here's probably one, two. And this kind of width is just a little bit more muted, a little bit more. A little bit of the parts that are there still is what's important about the vocal. And the parts that are whistled out, that are being taken out, are the ones that are kind of hurting and are not part really of the sound. It takes a long time to do, but as you can see, every vocal track here has one of those, and sometimes there's more, and sometimes there's less. You can even hear it. The point is not to take out everything, because some of these overtones are important for the vocals, but the important is to take out the worst ones and distract from the fact that some of it might be too harsh. Lastly, there is another EQ here. It's on the Vauxhall. It's nothing particular. It's just a little bit more clean on the low end. Again, I like low cuts. On the high end, it's just a little bit more brightness. Sometimes it helps to find an EQ for the main part, for the main sub, that ties together all the EQs of the other parts. So yes, I could EQ every single part separately, and sometimes I do. It depends on how they fit together. But at the end, to have a little bit of a high end that comes from all parts the same actually helps a lot. It makes the whole thing a little bit more feel like a whole, like one piece. Like the singer actually just stepped up to the mic, sang the song from top to bottom, and made you feel like it's a hit song. That's our job, to make it appear as if we were never there, even though we did all these things to make it sound seamless and like we're never there. All right, one more step. We need to talk about what's on the master bus. Stick around.